Hello everyone, I'm George Flowers, standing in for Betsy Ramsey, Chairman of the Board of Trustees. It was my honor and pleasure to serve in that position for 15 years, and I'm thankful to have received the call to pitch hit today for welcoming you all to the 58th annual meeting of Historic Columbus. I will now officially call this meeting to order. On behalf of Betsy, the staff, and the Board of Directors, I want to thank you for joining us virtually to celebrate the work of the past year. We are grateful and excited to share with you the many accomplishments of your HCF team. We are fortunate to have a seasoned team executing our preservation efforts led by Executive Director Elizabeth Walden, who will deliver the Historic Columbus Year in Review later in the meeting. I also want to add a great deal of thanks to the Executive Committee for their hard work this past year and for the leadership exhibited by President Margaret McCormick. We are also forever indebted to the service of our retiring board members, Philip Kervin, Rinkesh Patel, and Martha Paul, who have all faithfully served and supported this organization. Thank you. For this new year, we are honored and excited to welcome our incoming directors and trustees and thank them for their willingness to serve. These are three new directors, Bobby Andrews, Wade Clyatt, and Sarah Cummings. And we are also very excited to have two past directors returning to the board, Kia Chambers and Dina Woodruff. These new trustees will be joining a larger class of returning trustees with a term expiring in 2027. They are Pat Hughley Green, Thornton Jordan, and Willette Shally. We hope that you will join us in person at the Preservation Awards ceremony that will be held at the W.C. Bradley Company on October the 14th at 5:30 p.m. You will not want to miss it, as HCF will honor those who have led the way this past year in preservation excellence. We thank you, the loyal and dedicated volunteers, trustees, directors, preservationists, contributors, sponsors, and patrons for your continued support and guidance as we work together to make our community better. Without you, our Historic Columbus Foundation would not be able to do the important work that it does. Next up in our virtual meeting is Cal Evans, who has faithfully served as the treasurer for Historic Columbus. Thank you, Cal.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. The 2023-24 fiscal year was remarkable in many ways, beginning with the fact that Historic Columbus ended the year with a surplus, marking the 5th consecutive year this has occurred. What makes that remarkable is that we were able to do that while funding the development of Heritage Park Promenade project. Despite the fact that the cost of the project has more than doubled since its initial estimate, extraordinary efforts by our staff and the extreme generosity of our members and local foundations have placed us in a position to fully cover the anticipated final cost of the project. This means that we are able to continue to generate the required funds to cover operational costs from our endowment balances without diminishing the corpus that drives those returns. As in 2023, we took additional steps this year to lock in higher rate returns for the short to medium term. These return rates currently exceed our endowment disbursement percentages by about 40%, which allows us to reward our staff with competitive compensation adjustments, provides additional opportunity to grow the corpus, and hedges against future financial risks. None of this would be possible without the support of our financial advisors at Synovus and Morgan Stanley, the work from our stalwart Finance Committee member John Calhoun, and exceptional contributions beyond the call of duty from Justin Krieg and Debbie Lipscomb. Justin has literally saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars on Heritage Park, and Debbie has done a masterful job of running the books and dealing with the constant demands her role entails. Where Justin saved us hundreds of thousands, Elizabeth found us millions. My role here is to put a number on everything, but I can't put a number on her value to this organization. She has been nothing less than dynamic this year in driving the foundation forward. In my time as treasurer, Historic Columbus has faced some extreme economic events, such as the pandemic, and some steep financial challenges, such as taking on the largest project in the foundation's history during one of the most extreme inflation environments in our nation's history. In case you're wondering, that latter piece is the exact recipe for doubling a large development project's cost. We have also seen an increase in the standards placed upon nonprofit financial reporting and accounting, which has led us to significantly upgrade our processes, both operationally and financially. The unsung hero in all of this has been JP's, who will take over as treasurer for the 2024-25 fiscal year. Jay's significant experience and expertise in accounting and auditing has been invaluable to the organization, though I personally value his forethought and vision, as that will be integral to the post-Heritage Park Promenade era here at Historic Columbus. I'd like to officially welcome Jay to the treasurer's post and personally thank him for what he has done and what he will do. To conclude this report, our fiscal year-end numbers for 2024 are as follows. Total income, $595,095. Total expenses, $647,614. Transfers from restricted accounts, $25,189. Net income, negative $27,330. Surplus from 2023, $89,835. Carryover into 24-25, $62,506. Our 2024-25 budget projects positive net income, which will add to the carryover in 26. As always, the surest path to achieving that goal is continued enthusiastic engagement from our membership, board, and trustees, and we are counting on all of you to help us get there. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce Executive Director Elizabeth Walden to give our year in review.
Hello, everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us. We have come to the end of our 58th year as an organization, and I am extremely grateful to our directors, trustees, and members. Historic Columbus would not be where it is today without your vision, your leadership, and confidence. I am also extremely thankful to our 3 directors who are rotating off the board this year and for their support and time, Philip Curvin, Rinkesh Patel, and Martha Paul. As Cal stated in his financial report, Historic Columbus has been blessed because of you, our membership. We need you to know Historic Columbus continues to remain on sound financial footing and is ready for the challenges 2025 may bring. This past year, your love for historic preservation had a significant impact. More than $2.5 million was invested in meaningful preservation projects and education programming thanks to your continued commitment and support. From low-interest facade and rehab loans to moving endangered houses to developing an outdoor history trail, this has been an exciting year. To kick off our year in review, I want to start with education. 3 years ago, Rick McKnight invited Historic Columbus to collaborate with Fab Arts to develop an interactive play for 3rd graders that would focus on helping them learn about the history of the town they live in. Thanks to Rick's creative vision, passion for the arts, and love for our community, the Rivertown play was developed. This past year, it reached over 1,000 3rd graders in 20 of our elementary schools. I know we join all of you in celebrating and honoring Rick's memory and continuing his mission to bring the arts into the classroom. Our second major educational program is another wonderful collaboration with River Center for the Performing Arts. We have now developed 4 history exhibits. Our most recent one, Back to School, is located on the mezzanine level at River Center. This exhibit takes you on the journey of education in Columbus, from the early days of private education to the creation of the public school system in Columbus, through desegregation and celebrating our newest educational institutions. There are spotlights on individuals who were education champions, along with the schools many of us hold so dear. These exhibits have served as a wonderful opportunity for Historic Columbus to reach a broader audience and highlight different aspects of our town's history. And in case you missed our previous exhibits, they have been placed in the Columbus Ironworks and the Columbus Public Library for you and the public to be able to experience. We are very grateful to these great cultural arts partners, as well as extremely thankful for a grant from the Columbus Cultural Arts Alliance to make them a reality. Historic Columbus has also continued its investment in education through the Patricia Jackson Howard Scholarship, named in memory of our second executive director. The 31st Howard Scholarship was awarded to two graduating seniors, Jabari Leak and Justin Cheatham Merritt. Jabari graduated from the Rainey McCullers School of Arts, and he is now attending Middle Georgia Aviation School. Justin graduated in the top 10 of his class from Spencer High School and is now attending Ohio State University. To date, over $55,000 has been provided to graduating seniors in Patty's memory. Sharing our community's history, legacies, and stories is at the heart of our mission, as well as advocating for the benefits that preservation can bring. Our main advocacy effort this past year was a statewide initiative led by the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation. Historic rehabilitation tax credits are directly responsible for the revitalization of many commercial buildings and historic homes in the state of Georgia and in Columbus each year. Going into this legislative session, the residential component of the program was threatened due to a sunset date at the end of this year. Additionally, the commercial component of the program was scheduled to end in 2027. To avert this catastrophe, preservation partners across the state worked with Representative Debbie Buckner to introduce legislation that extends both the commercial and residential programs through 2029 and expands the residential program to allow owners of locally designated properties to qualify for the income tax credits. This new legislation will allow for even broader revitalization of our state's important historic infrastructure. It will also create jobs, encourage investment in older neighborhoods, expand workforce housing opportunities, and enable more owners to rehabilitate their historic homes in a cost-effective manner. This benefits not only historic preservation in Georgia, but also the economic development of our great state. A few local projects that have benefited from these credits include the Eagle and Phoenix Mill, City Mills, the Marble YMCA building on 11th Street, and hopefully soon Highside Market. Since 1997, over 250 low-interest facade and rehab loans have been made to local property owners by Historic Columbus, representing over $2 million of total investment in our historic neighborhoods. These loans are available to any owner of a property that is over 50 years old to help install a new roof, put a fresh coat of paint on the outside of your house, or provide funds for a full renovation. HCF is very grateful to the Bradley Turner Foundation for their confidence in this loan program to create Columbus's first program-related investment, and to have a partner like NeighborWorks Columbus to provide all the underwriting for the loans. Currently, there are 21 active facade and rehab loans representing over $500,000 of investment in our historic neighborhoods in Uptown and Midtown Columbus. 3.5 years ago, the Historic Columbus staff and board began envisioning a new future for Heritage Park and the Chattahoochee Promenade. It has become Historic Columbus's largest investment and biggest project in terms of scope. The overall concept is to revitalize the Chattahoochee Promenade and expand the history of our city, told by moving the industrial history elements from the former Heritage Park site on Broadway to the promenade, along with the new Clifford and Bobsey Swift History Trail. Return the Heritage Park property to its original residential use and save 5 historic structures for them to become single-family homes once again by moving them to the Heritage Park property. The ability to have this size and type of idea would not be possible without the strength of your HCF Board of Directors and the partnerships with Historic Westville, the W.C. Bradley Company, and the City of Columbus. And most importantly, it would not be possible without the Historic Columbus membership, Sarah Turner Butler's investment in the future of Historic Columbus, and the amazing confidence of over 160 donor families and foundations to fund this almost $5 million project. One of the biggest challenges so far has been attempting to move the test kiln that was used to fire prototype bricks across the river at the former Bickerstaff Clay Products facilities located just south of Phoenix City. The kiln was moved from the Brickyard to Heritage Park in the late 1990s to showcase the impact of the brick-making industry in the early development of Columbus's economy. The intent was to move the kiln across Front Avenue and place it next to the formal garden located along the promenade, but ultimately it proved to be too difficult. Weighing in at an estimated 400,000 pounds, the kiln and its 6-foot concrete base were simply too heavy to move intact. After working with the house mover for almost 2 months, the decision was made, along with the original donor family, to demolish the kiln and reuse the bricks to reconstruct the structure across the street. Contractors Brassfield and Gorey laser scanned the interior and exterior to produce a highly accurate set of plans that could be used for rebuilding the kiln. The original bricks were cleaned and stacked and are now being used for its reconstruction. Now that the kiln issue has been remedied, the former Heritage Park site was ready for its third house. To date, 2 houses from Lumpkin, Georgia, and the Promenade House have been moved, and renovation work, thanks to the W.C. Bradley Company and Brock Jones, Inc., will start soon. There are 2 remaining houses, one in Lumpkin and one in Juniper, that will be moved before the end of the year. Work at the Promenade is also underway with the new entrance well under construction, and all work on that side of the project should be completed within the next 3 to 4 months. I want to extend a great deal of thanks to the Historic Columbus team, project manager Justin Krieg, general contractors Brassfield and Gorey, architects Heck Bertishaw, civil engineers Moon Meeks and Associates, Alexander Contracting, Blackstock House Movers, and W.T. Miller. We look forward to this coming year when we can finally show you the finished product, so please stay tuned. Another town can always copy how your town does something, like how you plan and lay out an industrial park or how a permitting process works, but no one can duplicate your historic resources. Those are what make a town special, unique, like no other. Historic preservation is certainly not the only element in an economic development strategy, but it is increasingly being recognized as a critical component of a comprehensive approach. Historic Columbus's mission has always been about your passion for our places, your passion for our history, and your passion to improve our community. That is what we celebrate with these projects, and what we will showcase on Monday evening, October 14th, as we highlight the incredible private investment of our 2024 Preservation Award recipients. Before I go, I want to thank the Historic Columbus staff. I am so fortunate to be able to work beside them: Walker Watkins, Debbie Lipscomb, Justin Krieg, and Palmer Colson. I am extremely blessed. I sincerely can't say that enough each year. Thank you all for everything you do for Historic Columbus and to make our community a better place. We are grateful. And now it is my great pleasure to turn things over to our Director of Planning and Programs, Justin Krieg, to tell you more about this year's Preservation Awards.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Like last year, we decided to change things up again. The virtual program that you have seen tonight is all about what Historic Columbus has been able to accomplish thanks to you. Monday, October 14th, we get to celebrate in person with you to honor the recipients of the 58th Annual Preservation Awards. Historic Columbus is excited to award 14 projects with a 2024 Historic Columbus Preservation Award. These awards recognize individuals, businesses, and organizations who have completed a major historic rehab, appropriate infill development, or a program or exhibit related to our collective history in Columbus. These preservation champions take on the long, hard, and in most cases, expensive task of preserving historic properties. Historic Columbus is fully aware of the challenges of this work and is compelled to recognize these efforts. Preserving our historic buildings and telling the stories of our people and places gives us our sense of place as a community. These are the things that make Columbus unique, authentic, and interesting. Preservation is right at the heart. In the Preservation Awards, we will also present Historic Columbus's highest honor, the Sarah Turner Butler Heritage Award. This award has been given annually since 1984 to an individual or organizations of outstanding contributions to historic preservation in our city and region through demonstrated leadership and commitment to the mission of Historic Columbus. So please join us at the W.C. Bradley Company Monday, October 14th at 5:30 p.m. to honor the award recipients and their worthy projects. We hope to see you there. And now, President Margaret McCormick will close us out this evening.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Justin. I'm Margaret McCormick, and I'm privileged to have served as Historic Columbus's president this past year. And what a year! I am so proud of the progress Historic Columbus has made on a number of fronts, including our education programming and most notably the Heritage Park Promenade project. It's been said many times before, this project, which is the largest in scope and financial investment ever undertaken by Historic Columbus, furthers every aspect of our mission statement: to revitalize historic Columbus neighborhoods, to educate the public about local and regional history, to advocate for the benefits of historic preservation, and to preserve the historic, architectural, and cultural character of Columbus and its environs. From saving endangered houses and bringing more families to the original city, to showcasing why preservation is an effective economic development tool and the stories of our community, I'm sure you can see why this is the perfect project for Historic Columbus. I also want to echo Elizabeth's words that this work wouldn't be possible without the generous support from over 160 donor families and local foundations, from the Historic District Preservation Society, from Historic Westville, and certainly not last or least, from the city. It's going to be another exciting year coming up. There are many preservation projects and important advocacy efforts ahead of us, all right here in the Columbus Historic District. So stay tuned. Historic Columbus also continues to remain financially solid and never more poised to accomplish even greater things, thanks to our strong board of directors and our treasurer and president-elect, Cal Evans. I want to end our 58th annual meeting with an invitation to join us Monday evening at 5:30 at the W.C. Bradley Company to celebrate the winners of this year's Preservation Awards, including the announcement of the 2024 recipient of our highest honor, the Sarah Turner Butler Award. We will adjourn tonight, and I hope to see you there on Monday.